All right, so I actually have been leveraging AI in multiple different ways, and there's other tools and things that I'm aware of that have AI components I have not yet played with. And I actually just saw in the group before I went live that Meta is now saying, hey, they have an AI feature or something like that coming that if you run a Facebook group, you can go ahead and opt into to see what that's going to be like. I have no information on it other than, hey, you can do it, or that it's coming. So take that what it is. But at a high level, there's kind of there's a couple different types of no, I'm just gonna go. I'll just kind of run through the tools and then leave with some of those kind of caveats of how I choose to approach AI. Uh, one that I am working on getting fully set up is a product called Searchie. This is the platform I've chosen to be kind of like the back end fulfillment for my coaching services. Because it has, and I'll show you, I'll just pull this up. Let me see, zoom in if it will. All right, there. So essentially, I can sync with my YouTube. I can upload files manually. I can pull them in directly from my Google Drive. And I have this little nifty extension. So if I'm working on something for a client and they're like, hey, you know, I had you add testimonials to one of my website pages. I want to know how I can change those out or add new ones. Well, I was able to very quickly go in and while I was in the client's environment, do a video walkthrough of how to do that, which all of that is content that you create. And so it gives like an AI summary. I haven't yet used this a lot, but you can also, I think, yeah, you should be able to, yeah, I can edit this if I wanted to. So if it's not wholly accurate, because again, AI is not perfect. It's very sophisticated, predictive text and autocorrect kind of mixed together. I'm not going to get super technical there, but again, we all know AI is imperfect. It's a good idea generation tool though. But through here, it has already, given me thumbnails so I can pull out depending on what it is because it's analyzed the video. And so I've got Copilot, and so I could say, hey, write me quotes or things like that. I haven't really used this one a whole lot because I've got something else that already did that I have a lifetime access to. But it also gives me analytics. This is not to do with AI, but there's different activities and analysis. But the biggest part is that I can put it in there, it auto transcribes it into a searchable basically it makes all my videos searchable, so I can take all of my one-on-one calls with my clients and put them in there. And so if they're wanting to, it's like, yeah, I know I talked to Ashley back in July about this thing, they can just search that keyword and it will pull it in and get to that exact spot in the conversation. And so it makes it really easy to interact with past content, which is one of the main reasons I chose it. They do have an add-on that's called Searchie Wisdom that effectively lets you create a chat bot of yourself. It uses all the content you've put in, and if somebody asks a question, it'll use that and answer like it's you. I'm not to that point yet with my things, but I think that's really because that can help people self-serve a lot more. and one of the reasons I chose this platform. So that's one of the tools I use. The other, and I'm not going to go into all of these different AI tools because I'm also still kind of playing around with them to figure out what my ideal workflow is with them. And that's the thing too, is you're building systems. You have to constantly be kind of refining and tweaking and adjusting things. But so far they've been pretty useful to where, like, if I'm trying to generate post ideas, and then once I get the idea, I have it outline, and then I can write the post and have it, do a draft of an introduction or a conclusion, post titles. You can even filter it here with like topic research, SEO meta descriptions. And if you want to reply with a comment or something, it can help you with that as well. You can even have it rewrite paragraphs, because sometimes I'll just be like, and here's a bunch of words, and then it's okay, I want you to make this a little more concise or a little more direct. And then Facebook posts based on the content. Okay, this may become my new email workflow, because email replies, all sorts of different things that are there. I E-commerce, so like if I'm doing a review type thing, it can kind of help me with an outline or something. And then there's all sorts of different things that you can do that. But there's a lot of different tools in here. It is there's RankMath Pro, and then this is another cost on top of that. But I'm finding that AI is shortcutting a lot of the thinking, or it's helping me think through things in a richer manner, that I'm getting to where I want it to be, quality wise as well, a lot faster, because it is that outside perspective that is not inside my brain, which doesn't have all of my assumed knowledge, that really helps with the content quality that I produce, which it's quality content that's going to get people to engage. And so I've always been a proponent of quality over quantity matters more. So it's quality and consistency that are the two big levers when it comes to content. So that is RankMath. Of course, a lot of us are now familiar with ChatGPT. I don't just use it for my business. I've got backstory for a character that I am trying to figure out for a Pathfinder campaign that I'm in. I use it to kind of think through and talk through some of the questions of offer development. So I've been using a lot to ask questions, have it ask me questions that I then respond to. That's really good, is have it act like an interviewer that's a specific type of expert. And then as it asks you questions, that helps you think through your answers to those. And then you can kind of turn around and have it reorganize those in something that makes it a very easy and adaptable framework or something. So if you're trying to develop a framework, it can help. All sorts of things. But you really have to prime it and feed it well. And what I mean by that is have it act like an interviewer first, and then have it kind of organize the thoughts and the things that you've shared through that interview. But I think there's enough content on ChatGPT. I'm not going to get super in depth on this. But yeah, you can use that. And really, it's trust, but I don't trust AI, but it's always verify the information. And if it produces something that you're like, yeah, I don't agree with that, guess what? You're responsible for the end content. You don't have to use it. I reorganize or don't use not half the things, but it's like I don't use a lot of what it comes out with, but it is good if you just need a very rough first draft of something, but you always do want to rewrite it. The next tool is called CastMagic, and this is something that you can upload video or audio content into. It transcribes it, which lets me export that transcription to use it with my YouTube videos for captions. Because again, accessibility is one of the big values that I hold, and it really annoys me when content doesn't have captions, because that's part of the way that I learn and process is, reading and hearing and seeing it all together. Plus, because those are the three main listening methods outside of just doing it, which that's the whole thing in and of itself. You're really expanding your ability to reach different people because they can engage with the content in different ways. This is also something that I could take and kind of condense down or repurpose into a actual written post. That's one of the reasons why I do video content, is because I can hit video, written, and audio. Audio is the one I always forget, and I listen to a lot of audio content. But what I like about this is it's not just transcript. It also will do, here's different titles, title ideas. And yes, you're going to see some overlap here because TubeBuddy also has title idea generation as well. So it's really one environment am I in, and different tools will generate different things. So if you see one in a different tool that you like better, change it or whatever. But these are some suggested keywords. I don't use this one as much here, but like analytics tracking, okay, that could be something I could look into, because these are something that I could take into an SEO tool like SEMrush and see what the actual data says to determine, okay, yeah, this is optimized, but this is just a good idea of what you're getting. It gives a introduction, timestamps. So as I'm creating my, if it's content that I create that's not going to live in my coaching area, I have an alternate way of getting those timestamps that I can then use to create the chapters on the YouTube videos. And then these are, questions that my content answers, key points and bullets. That's really long. You also have it'll pull out quotes. So if you're looking for different things to share on social, it makes it super easy to do that. If you're creating a reel, you can do that. Or reel script, which is cool. If you're doing a LinkedIn podcast, newsletter, so I could take this and put it in. It just shortcuts a lot of the work. If I'm doing a tweet, tweet thread or a thread. I guess it's X now. They also have threads, which it's interesting that they do that, but this could also be carousel post or different things. Or it's also recognizing that there's a different environment on Twitter versus X. So this gives me a lot of the social content just by updating it, which again, that's something that as I develop my processes, I can tell a VA or somebody who's like, okay, when you're scheduling my social content, go to this program and create graphics for what it suggests, and it gives them something to where they're not starting, and I know that there's other content. So there's that. The next one is TubeBuddy. It is a YouTube plugin, and I am on the first paid tier of it. And so I can generate titles. This is how I really easily add chapters. To me, it's a lot easier to add chapters using this than something else. And that's another thing too about tech. It's like, what is going to lower your barrier and what's going to make it easy for you to create the content. For me, that biggest tool this year has been AI, which I'm sure that's true for a lot of people. But then it also does, you can tell it which specific keyword that you're targeting, and I can get that from the AI content if I didn't already have one in mind. But being me, I'm generally not going to be creating content if I don't have a keyword in mind. But in this case, this is something that's a little bit more freeform. I'm doing it, so I can have it suggest. It'll also suggest based on the content once you upload a transcription. And so those are the main ways that I do it. They also have some other tools here that is title. I already covered title generator. They also have a thumbnail analyzer. So if you're trying to optimize your thumbnail on YouTube to get views, this gives you an idea of how to do that. They have some other features. I don't use them mainly because I'm not at the tier that those get introduced. But you can also check them out at TubeBuddy. I'll link below again, and I'll provide links to all these different tools. And so let me cover, let's see, other tools that I use that are AI. I'm not going to demo them just because there's a lot, and we don't want to necessarily be here a whole lot because I still have the 7 lessons that I will go through very quickly. But other tools that I use, the WP engine hosting that I'm on, they have AI tools built in to help manage plugins and servers for WordPress and things like that. That sometimes the number one security issue with WordPress sites is usually plugins that aren't updated or base WordPress that's not updated. What this tool does is it runs through a series of automated testing, and the AI now analyzes it for any potential issues for updating to whatever the latest version is for that next plugin. And so it will kind of do the testing for you, and then it will go ahead and update the plugin automatically if you're not, if it doesn't detect any issues. And I run it on mine, and I haven't had any issues with it, and it's been really, really easy because that's something I don't manually have to go in and do, which is nice. I mentioned SEMrush. They've got several different AI tools. A lot of SEO tools are coming out with AI, which I'm like, grain of salt on that one as far as using it to produce SEO-friendly content. It can help you, but it's really what you bring to the content that's going to make it stand out and make it be the good user experience. I also use Notion AI, which they did an update to it a couple weeks ago, I think. That, or it might have been a month ago, that you can ask it questions, and then based on what information's in your environment, it will actually answer based on that data set, which is really cool. Especially as somebody that I save all sorts of articles, all sorts of like the books I'm reading, the notes from the books I'm reading go into my Notion, so I can use it to kind of get that information. It is a paid feature for Notion though. Canva also has some AI elements. I haven't played with them yet, but I know there's videos out there on those features. Elementor Pro also has some AI built into it that helps with building websites faster or getting, copy generated, things like that. And I already covered Meta. So there's a lot of different ways that I use AI in my business. You don't have to use all of them, but it is very much a powerful tool that if you are operating your business, especially by yourself, or you might might be yourself and one other person, you can get much more out of it than if you have to hire like a bunch of people to try to leverage all this stuff. So you can work more efficiently. But the big thing is like, know when to shelve the AI and just use your own brain. I use it primarily when I get stuck, or if I'm purposely trying to think through something and want that outside perspective to help me think through it better. You have an awesome brain. Please use that first. And don't just copy and paste AI content, because people want you, they want to know your vibe, how you talk to your audience. That's what's going to attract your best client, not showing up like everybody else that's just kind of using AI to sort of showcase expertise or something like that. Sorry, that's actually my next point. People can pose as experts thanks to AI for skill-based content or how-to teaching content. So you're going to want to share other content outside of this. That's what's going to help you stand out. So things like that are results you've gotten for yourself or your clients, the frameworks and your methodologies that you work through, different stories that show that deep level of expertise rather than just like, here's how to set up Google Analytics, or something like that. AI cannot go deep. It doesn't understand, it does not have the experience of this is what happens in the real world in this environment. So just really, just the quality of the content matters, and AI can't create quality content in the same way that you can as a human, but it can help you get to quality content faster. So that's the biggest way. And also, sure, getting that content distributed faster. That's the main thing of like, all right, there all this content. Now I don't know what part of it I need to post on social. Throw it in there, get some ideas, move on in life. All right, let me check the chat. I don't think we have any other questions. Okay, cool. All right, so did I just go through all that and not share the tools? All right, just in case, kind of recap what I use. Searchie, and it will give the summary, it gives chapters, and it's searchable. Those are the main reasons. This is where all my coaching content lives. You've got an array of different AI options with RankMath, SEO. Again, ChatGPT is just a sounding board, basically. A robot sounding board is what I primarily use it for. CastMagic lets you you upload audio video content, put it through, it'll give you the transcript that you can then use as subtitles, or to use as the basis for a blog post alongside the audio or video content that you have produced. So if somebody just wants to read, they can. There's also the AI content that gives you titles, different keywords if you want to feed those as options into TubeBuddy, which I showed you, introduction, timestamps. So if it's something that I'm not putting into my coaching platform, it's there. Questions that you can ask your audience to kind of get a conversation going. It's just like the speaker discusses, like you can, again, definitely rephrase this, and covers key topics and bullets, pulls out quotes, gives you real script, LinkedIn, podcast stuff, newsletter. Like this is the big one that shortcuts all the social work. Once you've done all the work of creating the content, this will help you extract out and shortcut the time it takes you to create the social content based on that. That's something where you'd be like, hey, I recorded my podcast or my blog. VA, it's in this folder. take it, upload it to CastMagic, and then create the different social things based on its suggestions and what you know as a human of how I communicate with my brand and all of that. TubeBuddy, it's also got a title generator. This is a thumbnail analyzer because this is very YouTube specific versus AI content is more general. And then also gives you recommended tags and things based on what you have uploaded or what you've told it. It's still, I did this earlier today, so it's still updating. And that is kind of the full rundown of what I demoed of the AI tools that I talked about, just in case I was a dork and didn't share my screen, because that happens. All right.